problem.
Well, here we are. We've finally managed to bring video into this. Um,
Hallelujah.
yeah, so let's see here. Uh, you have a beverage. I have a beverage. I'm gonna go ahead and ah,
Yes, sir. Cheers, mate.
proper excuse to day drink a little bit here.
For sure. It's our 30th episode, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
that's.
freaking 30 episodes. I was having a conversation with my friend, and it's like we've been around for about 2.5 years. And so I phrased it like, oh yeah, we've been around for about 3 years. And she's like, oh, you have 30 episodes. So you've released an average of 10 episodes every year. I'm like, we could probably do better. uh, and
Hey,
so,
we also have the lessons and the solo cast. I don't know if we've been counting those for.
nah, yeah, that's true. We have probably like, if you include those, like 35 episodes or so, which is like 12. It's like one a month, right? Basically at that point. Um, Actually, it's already like one a month because it's like 2.5 years. But getting into the topic today, right? So
Yeah.
last time we did a kind of New Year, New Me. It was kind of more or less the theme of it. This one's New Year, New Ideas. And we're gonna be doing an episode today about uh the best business ideas for 2022. We asked some other people and got some really fun business ideas. So we're gonna go through a lot of the fun ideas that we got, and then we're gonna be mentioning those as kind of as a way of eliciting an inspirational, like it's supposed to be something that's inspirational, where it's like you can really turn anything fun into a business idea and then make it work. And these are some of the silly examples that of things that you could do. And then after that, we'll get into more of the traditional business ideas that we're gonna discuss, things that people might find a bit more conventional, and ways to go about doing that and what direction you might want to go. But a couple of the funny ideas, right? I really like this one. Austin actually had this idea whenever he was in college, but what he told me is that during college exams week, a lot of people want food, but they don't want to go out and go get food because they're so busy hammering down their studies. And so his idea was that he was going to fry a bunch of chicken and do a
Okay.
delivery service on the campus. So it's like, oh, you want some chicken, dude? Well, I'm gonna like batch fry 25 pounds of fucking fried chicken and deliver it to people on the campus. So you're just
That-
the chicken guy, basically, on campus, which
yeah.
sounds silly, but I mean, like, it's something that I think it would be a fun idea overall.
I think it would be a very profitable idea. Yeah.
I mean, doesn't like fried
It-
chicken, right?
yeah, especially if you can't get out, off campus, and as you said, stuck with the finals week, and yeah, we've been there, so it's like we know what the struggle is to like get out of campus and get food at a time when we're like studying super hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like this was an idea that Austin had prior to Uber Eats, but this is like more of a like on campus kind of almost like a grassroots idea where it's like, yeah, the homies frying up a shitload of chicken, pitch in your $15 and you get yourself that pound and a half of chicken that you can just basically.
Yeah.
Uh, but I asked Kelly too. Kelly had an idea that she presented, I think, in school whenever she was in like an entrepreneurship or like a business class of some sort. Um, and she said, this is really interesting, a dog training service. So, you have a lot of people are getting dogs now, especially with like COVID and like everyone's at home depressed. And so they want like a furry little creature to come home to or like be home with that can help with their mental health. Well, the dog training service would be where it's like a doggy daycare, right? But you take on, as the entrepreneur, you take on dogs from people that have just gotten a new pet, but they don't know how to train the pet yet, right? So you take on the dogs and you train the dogs to, potty train the dog, teach the dog how to do specific tricks, or teach the dog how to just be like generally well behaved. And you have those different requests on how to train that dog, and then you train the dog accordingly for the individual that's gotten the dog. And for a lot of people that are in, that are working from home, they're busy doing a lot of work, and so they might not have a lot of time to train the dog. So if you did a full-time dog training service, you can kind of take that strain off of people's hands, which is like it's actually a seriously kind of good idea, I think. But it's also kind of silly too, because it's like I'm just training dogs. So it's like a bit of both. I think it's a genuinely good idea that is that's kind of uh silly and fun at the same time,
For sure,
right?
for sure. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think you have an idea here too.
I do. I do have an idea. You can, start a podcast on Anchor.
Shameless plug. No,
Just saying.
but I mean it's a little bit meta, but I mean that's what we did. We've been running this podcast for what, 30 months now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we're
It's
swimming in money because of it.
oh, absolutely, guys. You guys are putting a bunch of money. I'll even be transparent with the amount of money that we've made so far. We've made like $10, $10 in like the last 30 months with the amount of that's just like the amount of money that we've made in the course of the time that we've had the podcast. Um, which
Yeah,
is
thanks for.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you
But
buys like uh,
a six pack. I could buy a six pack if you want.
yeah, or a meatball marinara to cure the six pack or this.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, getting meta with it. For that was me and Danny's hangover cure. We've talked about it a lot of times in the podcast. But
Yeah,
after we were done, after like a college night, like a Friday night, we just wake up on Saturday morning, just stomachs rumbling, just grueling, just feeling disgusting, and the first thing we want is Subway, that disgusting, uh, sugary bread sandwich with like all the vegetables. Just run that motherfucker through the garden.
yeah,
Give me the fucking meatballs. Give me the
yeah,
sandwich. Slather in some sauce, and just so that, and then take it home and destroy that fucking sandwich. Those one of the best memories I have from college was those
yeah,
meatball sandwiches.
yeah, yeah. Same here, man. Those meatball sandwiches were lifesavers for real. It's like, yeah, yeah,
But
for
enough with
sure.
explaining the joke. Let me get into a couple of ideas that we've had, right? Just that we just kind of came together and like put together, right? So I think the best thing to do in a lot of scenarios is to source any sort of skill set that you already have for yourself. So it's like, let's say that you're a front end programmer, very monetizable skill, and you've been working as a front end programmer, let's say, or a full stack developer even, um, at a company, or like in some tech companies, and you're getting tired of working for somebody, so you're like, okay, well, I want to start my own business now. uh, that's the kind of skill. It could be in programming, but it could also be in being an HR professional or being a recruiter. There's so many ways to start your own independent consultancy or your independent service up. And realistically, if you have a skill, like it's the cliche, right? Um, if you're good at something, don't do it for free. And you take
Right.
that idea basically where you're good at a specific skill, recognize what you're good at, and then turn that into some sort of monetizable business, which I think is a sensible thing to do as an independent service. But I mean, Danny, I mean, you're a marketing professional, right? I mean, what's your experience been with monetizing that?
Yeah, it's over time you develop a range of skills. Whether well, in my case, that's kind of what happened. I developed a range of skills. Um, developing, making content, especially, with writing and all sorts of graphic things with, programs like Photoshop and Illustrator, InDesign, etc. And it's like, well, if you have that kind of skill set as well, you might as well go out and put it to work for yourself, by working for people that need that skill set and they don't have it. So you fulfill that need that they have. And yeah, in my case, it's been very rewarding to have that skill set because it's allowed me to work with some really cool people, and being involved in some really cool projects. I mean, in my case, a lot of what I do again revolves around uh, content creation, and editing. But it's great. I mean, if you're somehow uh, good with with some form of creative skills or communication skills, then something like marketing, which is a lot of what I do, is good for you. It's something that you can bet on for like starting a business in that area,
Yeah.
or like your own independent practice,
Because
freelancing
creating
practice.
demand is in demand, right? It's like a lot of everyone's trying to get more leads, get more customers, and also the PR aspect of marketing, where like you're creating a brand and you're letting people know about that. Um, Highly
Yep,
monetizable skill, and I really think it's interesting how you went about acquiring uh, your your clients for this because you went through
true,
Acadium.
true.
Was it Acadium? Was
I still don't know how to pronounce it honestly, but it's yeah,
Acadium? Acadium?
Acadium.
Uh,
I think Acadium is likely the more correct way. But yeah, basically, I joined Acadium, which is a platform that connects, marketing apprentices with people that are willing to mentor them. And you don't get paid, obviously, but you get a 3 months apprenticeship with a person that is knowledgeable in the area, and you're doing some really valid work. Like, it's valid work experience that you can then, even if you don't follow up after the apprenticeship, and you guys don't continue to work together after the apprenticeship, it's still experience that you can put on your resume and
right.
talk about. It's a selling point for yourself whenever you're applying
Yeah. And
somewhere.
at first you were doing it as like a way to build up your portfolio, right? But that eventually turned into you having some people that you work with now. These are like you were working for free for a while and you proved your value basically to these people and they're like, "Oh, actually I want to work with you going forward. Here's a contract and an agreement that we've worked out." And now you've
Yeah,
provided services for free for a while, and then like from there you went to being a bona fide digital marketer with and content creator with different clients, which is a is a very interesting journey too because a lot of people like are like well because it's kind of contrary to what I said earlier with like if you're good at something don't do it for free, but the value was in that you built relationships with these people, you had a trial period essentially where you proved your worth to them and they're like, yeah, this guy's actually really great at what he does, I'm gonna give him money going forward for this, and then like you can replicate that. And I'm not and I think we talked about this a couple times too, but it's like if you wanted to get a new client, well, a good way to do that would be to go through Acadium again, and do like another 3 month stint, or market your services accordingly as a content creator on a website and kind of build from there. But you've already gotten traction because you were willing to do work for free, which I think is very admirable.
yeah.
By the
And I
way,
mean, in my case specifically, like, I don't think I could have, gone. I think I would have going through Acadium and like doing the work for free was the best choice because I didn't have any sort of marketing like specific marketing valid work experience that I could go knock on
So you
other
had the
people's
skills, but
doors.
you didn't have the experience yet. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, you know how important it is, like for people to see results, see like, you know, like the valid experience. So going through this, you know, it's just 3 months too, so it's like you finish it and it makes a real difference, like on your CV, to be able to say that you already have that experience, even if you had the skills but you don't have the experience. You know, it's good to like get the two, and then you can like
100%.
charge whatever the fuck you want. I don't know.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no,
and
but yeah, it's a
that's
lot more solid proposition that you value
mhm.
proposition that you're making to your
And
clients.
that's like the like a path where you work with specific clients on a service that has been that's that you agree to provide for them, and they in turn agree to give you money. All right, basic economics right there, basic capitalism. But
Yeah.
there's also the affiliate marketing route, which I think we might have talked about a couple times in this on this podcast, but it's something that's like really big. Um, Actually, can you talk about the affiliate marketing and the drop shipping thing, because I think those are kind of more um, estranged from the traditional "I do work for you and then you give me money" approach. This is more
Hmm.
like I do money for myself. I provide a service. I provide traction for a platform like Amazon or Etsy, and then I get money in return. Or in the case of drop shipping, it's realistically what now you know more about this. So I'll let you
Yeah,
explain.
yeah. I'll go into it. So for the kind of the affiliate marketing side of it, actually, I can give an example on both affiliate marketing and drop shipping from the experience I've had with my uh, content marketing clients. So for the affiliate marketing, for example, Nick Sadler, the at the Label Machine, we do affiliate marketing for the members of our platform, which are, you know, um, either independent musicians or mostly record label self-starters, I guess. You know, independent record label founders. And the affiliate marketing that we do is usually like things that have to do with music, you know, like uh, get a discount for signing up to this promotion tool, you know, or this PR course, or uh, that kind of stuff. And essentially, when people use the code, uh, the label machine will see, let's say, like a percentage of the people of the money when people sign up to a course or to something that we have the affiliate program with. So that's and then that's something that you can apply to virtually any kind of business that you go into, you know, even if you're doing something by yourself, like some sort of creative outlet, you can very easily like find reasons to and you know, things that you can do affiliate
Yeah.
marketing for that
And
correlate to what you're doing.
with affiliate marketing, essentially, is like if you have traction and traffic onto a specific place that you've generated, then you can monetize that by putting affiliate links and then referring the people that are coming to your website or your page somewhere to a specific link, right? That's the idea there. Product
Yeah,
reviews is kind of
yeah,
like the big one that like kind of like comes to everyone's mind, I think, right? Where it's like you review like I don't know, here's a Nintendo Switch controller, right? And it's like,
right.
oh, this controller is really great, and you do a review of it on on YouTube, and then you put the link to purchase that product on Amazon, and then you get paid a portion of the sale that was made on Amazon whenever
Yeah.
someone buys that controller. Which you can do that with virtually anything as long as you have traffic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Drop shipping is kind of like the other side of that almost. It's the fulfill. It's like more the having things in stock and selling
Y-
it.
yeah, I
Just
mean,
being a seller.
you yourself don't necessarily have it in stock. I guess that's actually the big advantage of drop shipping is you don't hold the stock yourself. It's like the supplier, and you're just like the middleman selling the products to people and getting essentially a cut out of it. But you have your own store, your own digital online store, and everything. Um, I mean, I could tell you again an example from my own experience was trying to set up a drop shipping online store for Kevin Toms for his merch. You know, it was it's and it was a tough project that eventually we we just abandoned because one of the big things that makes drop shipping difficult for some people is Brexit, I guess, or like more.
Oh, that's a specific situation. Yeah.
It involves because when you go into a well, when you go into a business like starting a company and all the bureaucracy and the financial commitment that's involved in it, it can be very disencouraging for a lot of people that want to that's start considering drop shipping a like a viable thing, but they don't take into account all these aspects of and that's something we did not fully take into account. It's like well, the shipping and the
So it's
customs and
difficult, but it's also achievable with drop shipping. Because in the US, I know it's quite a bit easier because the whole Brexit thing was kind of is something that put a cap on you guys and like your ability to go through with that to the extent that you wanted to. And like my friend
Mhm.
was doing a drop shipping thing with Amazon where he would research a bunch of products and he would buy stock of those products and sell it on Amazon basically. And he was in charge. So like Amazon would like keep the stock of what he purchased in the warehouses, like the Amazon warehouses. And then what his job was basically was to buy those things, and then Amazon would store those. And then he was in charge of making sure that all the items that he was buying were items that were actually useful and people and had a good product market fit. And so he actually ended up making a decent amount of money yearly from doing that. But it's a lot easier in the U.S. I think than the UK or in Portugal.
Yeah, yeah, with the current situation is just not because a lot of suppliers, like I know that a lot of the big suppliers, the main suppliers, they are based in the UK because the UK was actually up until the Brexit happened. The UK was like huge on drop shipping, on people depending on drop shipping for their businesses. The number of people that had online stores was huge. So and the problem that we were facing, along with the all the financials and stuff, is that Kevin Toms is technically based in the European Union. Like
Oh, is
he's in the
yeah.
Netherlands, so is and a lot of his a lot
So
of his audience is based in the United Kingdom.
I feel like we could
That
do an entire episode
uh,
on this itself, huh?
I'm gonna cut it short right now, like
Okay,
with this thing. But what I want to point out is that take these all these aspects into account
going
when
into it.
considering drop shipping and try to find uh, a an alternative that takes away all the pain of of the that bureaucracy of the shipping and stuff, because that's what we did. We ended up just going on Redbubble, you know, the
Oh, right. Because
and
it was Etsy that you're using at first, right?
no, we were using Shopify.
Shopify,
We were
Shopify.
trying
Okay,
to set it
cool.
up on Shopify.
And then
So
Shopify was like a pain, so you're like, yeah, I'll just put it on Redbubble instead, and they can create the actual content and because like in your case, like it was like the actually, Redbubble's a good one to mention too, I guess. But is I mean, like, if as long as you have the art and you have the rights to the art, and you can basically put it on Redbubble, and then the people at Redbubble can on demand print those onto specific like a mug or like some sort of merchandise, and then sell it to the people that want it at kind of a markup, basically, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
everything we were trying to set up, but without the hassle of like of running it, of managing, orders and shipping and
That's a good lesson right there. Is that you could do red if you're more the art type, but you don't want to go into doing like the heavy into a lot of the heavy lifting, then you can just put stuff on Redbubble instead and monetize that.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's a good take. That's a yeah. So if you're the artsy type, and then that's your skill set, and you don't want to have to deal with the bureaucracy and the logistics of it, then you can just go on Redbubble instead. Which I actually that's a very smart insight, I
Hmm.
think. Cool. We were talking about like freelance, independent, or consulting services. It's kind of the general umbrella that we were talking about here. But I have a little bit of experience with Salesforce. I said a little bit, but I actually did quite a bit of studying in Salesforce. And the way that Salesforce works basically is that it's a customer relationship management software platform, right? And what I did whenever I was working as a Salesforce consultant was I would create and basically create the ecosystem that salespeople would use at a specific company, and I would create kind of like the workflow for those people based off of what the company wanted. And that's a skill set that I still have. And so I've actually thought about doing my own consultancy with Salesforce on the side, where let's say like you know, I have a friend that has a company that needs to have a Salesforce configured, like their Salesforce configured, and have it set up a specific way. That's a skill set that I have, so I can monetize that. I can take it. I can go to them and agree to fix their Salesforce up for however many hours and start my own consultancy service off the back of that, and basically expand my clientele going forward. That's I have that right. I have the right to do something like that because I'm skilled at Salesforce. I'm good at Salesforce. The point is that if you're good at something, you should monetize that by creating your own consultancy or your own independent venture, or just onboarding clients and working with them, and then kind of starting as like kind of like an like a small as a consultant, and then going from like a consultant or like an independent contractor up to an actual business and like scaling it up from there. But
Yeah,
um, another thing that I thought about too, doing this in the future, is because of my new work. I work with in the venture capital space quite often, and so starting a kind of a consultancy service when it comes to venture capital. Again, assuming that I get a lot more know-how and knowledge and insight into the space. That's a pretty niche knowledge set. The thing is, like, just having that knowledge and being able to speak to it and then giving people actionable insights is something that's really attractive too. Because it's like, yeah, skills are the skills are really important, and being able to provide a direct service is great. But another thing too is if you have niche knowledge or just experience or know-how and how to navigate a specific space, that's something that you can start a consultancy brand up with, and you can monetize that. Because in this sense, being able to speak that knowledge is the actual skill set in question. You would just call it a consultancy instead of freelancing or being an independent service provider of some sort. So that's another thing too, is that you can monetize knowledge pretty well, as long as the knowledge is something that knowledge and experience is something that's valuable to other people, right?
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, And we have a couple more things to go over, right? This is another kind of fun idea, but it ties into a couple of of beliefs that I have in business, right?
Okay.
Just basic economic, like I'll boil it down to like basic economics. Basically, my idea is that there's a place in Austin, right in front of downtown called Barton Springs, and then Barton Springs juts out. It's just basically like a little spring area where people go and swim in the summer because it's like the water is like 70 degrees and like it's like 100 degrees outside, right, Fahrenheit, and
Yeah.
that water juts out into the Colorado River, and there's a really cool area where you can actually stand in the water. It's about chest high, but you have to get out there with a raft of some sort. So a lot of people get paddle boards and they get out to that area. That's where the water is chest high, and then they have
Nice.
their beer coolers, the shitload of like whatever they packed in there, and they're just drinking beer all day, right? Really cool place to be. I love going out there in the summers, right? But what I notice is that whenever I'm out there, if I forget food or water, I'm fucked because there's absolutely no place within like a mile or two radius that has any food or water. And so the thing is, I'm out there a lot of times thirsty. I'm like drinking White Claws to try to quench my thirst, but it's like just making me more like I'm just losing more
Dehydrating you.
liquid doing that. Um,
Yeah.
and then if I'm hungry, right, legitimately have to leave Barton Springs, and go get some food. But then I can't really make my way back. Like once I leave for the day, I once I leave to go get food, I'm not getting back in the water because I'm like holding like a heavy raft that I basically like rafted down the river with. So there's no food.
Yeah.
So there is no supply of food. There is a huge demand for food. Why don't I provide food? Right? So my idea is that I'm going to use my rubber raft, my boat. It's like a 5-person raft. I was going to put a motor on the back of it, put a bunch of sandwiches in a cooler, right? And then take that cooler down the river to the place where all those people are. And again, there's like hundreds of people just chilling out there drinking beers and like dehydrating themselves. So I'm gonna have water and sandwiches, and then sell those basically as a set to people for however much dollars. Right? I can basically charge it at almost any price because even if it's like a little bit higher than what they would usually pay for it, it's like, dude, like you're not gonna find food anywhere else. And the thing is, you don't have to
Yeah.
take food from me, but this is something that you're allowed to do. You can buy from me. And so the idea here is that in that little scope right there, out of all the people that are there that haven't brought food, I have a monopoly, right? I have a complete
Exactly.
monopoly on
Yeah.
that, and I can monetize that basically at whatever rate that I want to, until somebody else starts a business, and that's fine, right? And the idea here is that like there's a need there, and this is something that I've identified as a clear need that people have, and I can provide a service. And it's also kind of gimmicky and fun because like I'm on a boat, motherfucker, right?
True.
I'm on a
True.
fucking
Yeah.
boat, selling sandwiches to people, and like they can just like send me some Venmo money, and then charge. I can charge that basically. I can charge them
Yeah.
through Venmo, which is like it makes me feel like the future is fucking here whenever I hear that. Because imagine as a kid, it's like somebody comes up to you in a boat, you have a contactless payment method, and then you just get a sandwich off of a fucking boat. And they say toodles after that. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
it's like fun,
Sounds like
and
heaven.
it's
Yeah.
like just kind of taking advantage of the economics of the area, which is the economics is there's no food over there. There's almost
Yeah.
a pretty fairly infinite supply of money, or I don't know if that's supply of money, but there's like a lot of money that you can take from people, but there is like no food there, and I can just bring the food and save the day and then make a shitload of money. And so that's the idea there. Um, so that's a the idea there is sell a physical product in a place with high demand. The next topic is work with someone who's an expert at a specific subject, right? And this is actually kind of like Danny, I want to tag you in for this, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm an all right at content creation. I'm all right at being a marketer, right? But Danny is has been working in the space for a lot longer, and so Broke Homies is kind of made with that understanding where Danny and I created this project, um, where with the understanding that Danny will do a lot of the actual will provide the actual skill set, and I'll do a lot of the logistics and like do more of the operations, and then Danny will do a lot of the actual marketing and like video and content creation, the actual skill right there, and I would kind of like manage the entire thing. Um, that's something that you can do with absolutely anything. And I I want to tag Danny in because it's like, what's your experience with like you and me working together, and like what I do versus what you do?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. We started this project knowing that we could complement like each other's skill set. So, you know, I was better at, creating content that like on Photoshop and editing the audio and doing video stuff. And you're a lot better at the social media stuff and yeah, getting people to actually listen to us. you know uh so yeah, we have areas where we're a lot more savvy,
Mhm.
and I think that's really important. It's just like in any project, like finding somebody that that complements your skill set, and you in return complement their skill set.
Mhm.
I think that's really important. And I think for in this topic, like working with someone who is an expert, and like legitimate expert, because you and I, like, when we started this,
It's a
we were
little
not
similar.
experting at anything,
Yeah.
but like
Or
I've
take Austin for example. Like, Austin's a basically a composer, right? He's uh basically an audio. I don't say audio engineer. That's not quite right, but he's a composer. Like, really realistically, what he does is he composes and writes music very intricately.
Mhm.
And that's something that, like, if and this is an idea we've like him and Austin and I have talked about a lot of different things, but if he wanted to sell the services in a package to people, I have the sales experience, so it's he can create the content based off of the demand that I create for for his services. That's something where it's like he's an expert at this, and then I'm more the operational marketings and salesperson in that equation, and then we can just like work together basically, and provide services for a bunch of people that I can't do the audio bit. Austin probably could do the sales bit, but it would take him a lot of time and effort, and so it's kind of segmenting the tasks and like helping each other out with the complementing each other,
Mhm.
thing that Danny just mentioned. That's the idea there. So I think it's really good to find people that be on the lookout for people that you could work with potentially in the future for a variety of different things. But setting up a new business venture would be, having a very strong co-founder would be really great
Yeah,
for that. And
absolutely. Yeah, and
oh,
also, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna go on to the expanding your podcast section, or
Okay,
it's
okay, okay. Just before you go, the idea of pairing up with someone who is an expert at a specific subject means that you can some of that expertise can also rub on you. You get to
ooh,
learn some of the things that they are expert at, maybe some secrets, some tricks of the trade. You know, so that's another advantage of working with
yeah,
someone.
that's true. That's true. Because it's like
So
you have to be able to communicate on the specific topic that you're talking about. So there has to be some sort of common lingo that you establish, and in order to get to a point where you can like competently communicate with someone that's an expert in something, you have to really like learn about that topic as well, just enough
Yeah.
to be able to communicate and understand what they're working on, right?
Yep.
Knowing enough to be dangerous. People like to say that a lot. It's like I know enough to be dangerous. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. That's exactly
it's
right.
the
Yeah.
idea. But another thing too is expanding a project or a business that you're already working on. I really like this idea because
Mhm.
I think that you know, and this is me, right? Because I'm really bad at focusing stuff, which is why I have a Google Doc pulled up right here so that I can go step by step down the things that I've already written down. So that my fucking I don't know if I have ADHD, but I might. But case in point. But the idea here is that you know you're always going to be tempted to start a new business venture. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably that kind of person where it's like you're tempted to start something new and you want to like make a new project or like start this or start that, start this. You have so many different ideas, um, but a lot of times what you might be better off doing is doubling down on something that you've already started. Right? Is this podcast, for example, I thought about creating a different business venture, like doing like a whole different business idea before, like just like in something else. But what might be a good idea is to double down on Brocal Homies and what we do. And to be honest, right, like it might make more sense to with Danny and I's experience and kind of the content creation and marketing side to like start a business based off of that, where we already have listeners, you guys that are listening to the podcast, and that's valuable. It's like you guys have created a lot of value for us and getting our names out there. And so if there's somebody that's like, yeah, thank you very much, by the way. And if you've, if because there's people out there listening to this podcast and they're like, oh, well, I could really use some services um, that Brocal Homies provides that you guys provide for yourselves, like the things that you do for your own place. For your own organization, I would really like those services. For skill set for what I'm working on, and I go, okay, cool. Well, then we can start like a whole Brocal Homies company basically, and off the as kind of like a side project of the podcast that we're working on, which would be awesome. It's like that's just building on something that we already have. It's not anything that's completely new, but it's something that's just expanding or going in a different direction with something that you're already working on, and kind of pivoting and calibrating yourself to the environment at the current moment.
Mhm.
Um, it's like a lot of times you're better off if you've already sunk a lot of time and effort into doing something, then why not make the most of it by creating a different opportunity out of a business that you've already made for yourself? Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
So
that's how a lot of successful businesses come about. Is they start as personal projects or like a one man business kind of thing that grows. They continue working on it. They expand some things. Sometimes it's no when by the time it's successful, it's a lot different than what it started out as.
yeah,
But it works. It's just if you have something already out there that you've been working on, well, and it's not working, maybe consider, instead of throwing the towel and just dropping the whole thing, try to think of other things that you can apply to that project or to that business.
hundred
That
percent. Yeah.
yeah,
Just what could you get out of it? If it's not successful, how could you make it better if it is successful? Right? I mean, like either
yeah,
one of those things, very very
yeah.
valid reason. I think. How can you get more value? That's really realistically what it comes down to. And if there's something that you can, some value you can derive from something you've already worked on, and you can create more value through that project, why not? Why not do that? But
Hmm.
there's a couple things here about writing too, right? Danny being, Mr. Book Publisher here. He's uh, published a
Self-taught
book. It was
author.
Was it on Amazon, the book that you published, right?
Yes, sir.
But there's the point is that there's a lot of things you can do with writing.
Yeah, I mean, and
Please tell us.
it's beyond books, you know, like if you're like if you just want to like write like a blog or something, you can do that and you can monetize that. And it's not just through affiliate marketing as we were talking about, although that is also like a really good way to one of the best ways to monetize that. But like if you whether you just want to talk about like what makes you happy or makes you sad, or like a blog journal, or you actually want to like have a deeply cultivated interest on something, or are an expert on something and you want to share that expertise, you can do that in certain platforms that reward you for writing there and getting people
Oh,
to read.
Medium, like we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
um, yeah, one of my goals, one of my new
Oh,
year
damn!
goals,
I
yeah.
gave it away.
To get
I
to
spoiled
100
it.
followers. Please, if you're on Medium, follow me. Shameless, I know, but like that's one way. If you like to write and you want to put it out there, and you don't want it to fall on flat ears.
Deaf ears, right? Can I say that?
Yeah,
Fall on deaf ears.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, then one of the places that already has a readership base that's actually actively looking for new things to read is Medium. So go there, start writing, and start paving the way to monetization. Another thing that you can do is what I did, which is just write a book and sell it directly on Amazon. No need for publishers, no need for uh, the middleman. Amazon is the middleman, and they kind of like Redbubble. What Redbubble is to the merch business, Amazon is to the book publishing business. To the
That's what it originally started, right? Is like is books is where Amazon started, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. As a online
There's an
bookshop,
online
right?
bookstore, I think, is what Amazon started as originally.
Yeah, and now they've with Kindle and their devices and
Audible. I use Audible actually.
yeah,
I mean, of
also
course I use Audible, right? Like the mold of the kind of person that would use Audible.
if
ADHD and can't read books. I can't sit down, so I gotta go for a walk with the headphones in and listen to audiobooks instead.
but that's actually also a great way, a great business idea, because audiobooks are like super popular. Like people don't just read actually read a book now. They if they can some they want to hear it
It's the same reason people listen to podcasts too.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. If you
Listen to stuff instead
Yeah,
of reading it.
so I mean, it might be more difficult to get somebody, to make a decent audiobook version out of what you've wrote. But if you have the opportunity, yeah, go for it, man. Because Audible yeah, you can get your stuff on Kindle and on Audible. It's pretty fucking great. But with writing a book on Amazon, what it gives you is also, because it's all handled through their direct publishing platform, you'll have the option to also, if you're selling an ebook, yeah, I think you still have the option for also selling paperback versions on demand that they produce, that Amazon
Mm.
uh, fulfills the production and the shipping and
That
everything.
sounds kind of like the
So,
Redbubble side of things, almost, where it's like there's a demand for it, so on demand they print it and then they provide it to other people. Is that how it works?
yeah, yeah,
Huh.
that's exactly it. Like,
Hmm.
you don't have to worry about having a stock of I don't know how many copies of books, just sitting in
By the
your
way, listeners, I did not know that, so I actually learned something completely fucking new today. That was really cool.
yeah, I think yeah, if you go about it through the direct publishing, there is an option for people who buy the ebook. They can get a paperback version sent to them, so
Mhm.
print on demand kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if they have a service that allows them to print from a printer at home and like create a book like a make your own book kit kind of thing. Be kind of
uh,
potential business idea. You guys, anyone who listens to this that wants to make that, if that doesn't already exist, then you guys can feel free to take it. Where it's like you can print the book from home, and then what you do is you don't send the actual book itself. You just send the actual binding for the book, and then you can make the book at home. I don't know if that exists already, but if that doesn't, then anyone here is willing is fine to make that. Take that from me.
you mean like the cover and the back, like
Basically, yeah. Basically, the idea is that you know, before, like books used to be like the actual book itself, the paper was like handwritten, or it was like uh it was
yeah.
the actual book itself. It wasn't the content in the book that was the monetizable component. It's like the content and the actual book itself were like one and the same. Whereas now it's like it's not necessarily the book itself, right? Because the content you can find anywhere. It's more the actual book. It's the content that you can find anywhere. So like the content is the important part. The book is something that's like you can have an audiobook, and there's so many different ways of having it, but a lot of
Hmm.
people still prefer books and having like an actual like physical thing to read off of. And so what you could do, right, is you could make it a service where you have the rights to the book, and you can print that and you can buy the rights basically from a place, from a platform, which would be the platform in question here that I was talking about. You can buy the rights, you can print the uh, the book at home as a consumer, and then all that you get sent to you is just the bindings for it, or like it's basically like kind of like origami instructions, basically, where it's like this is exactly how you go about binding the book and creating the actual book itself, and you can make your own book for yourself with your own paper instead of actually having like a consumer product that was finished. It's just completely
Yeah.
idea based, and it's like a funny scrapbooking
I, I
platform
I
basically.
see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like the IKEA of books.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
set
very
up
much so.
your own book, and
Yeah.
actually, yo, that's you know, y- it's probably a lot of work, and it's probably really costly for that
You have
to
to buy the
happen.
rights, which I think is going to be expensive.
I mean for the consumer to for like to buy the supplies for putting that whole thing together and printing out the book. But it's actually pretty cool if you have like a set of covers and bindings, like custom, and you can
Mhm.
like mix it
Yeah.
up and
And
make like your own edition, your
if you guys
special.
don't like this business idea, then you could probably cut out here. But I think Danny and I will talk about this for a second because I think this is fun. The whole idea of the printing it at home thing is that it eliminates the shipping cost. Like you don't have to ship anything. So the thing is, it's just you just buy the rights and the ability to print that from home, and then also the formatting, so that all you do is you just go on the platform and then you print however many, like 165 pages or whatever, like front and back, so it's like 80 pages, and you just have to have the paper. And then basically what you're tasked with there after that is you just like punch a hole in all of the different in all the pages or something, and then um you take some spare materials that 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 you use to actually bind the book, and then you create basically like your own version of it's like scrapbooking, but like you buy the rights and the formatting on the paper. The paper is nice, and you have that kind of raw format. And then what you have on the platform for on our platform is basically the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, how many steps, into actually binding it this direction. It's more of an inspiration. It's like you sell the rights, and then you also sell the content on how to actually make the books look the way they do, and you as a consumer can choose to use that content, or you can just be creative and do things the way that you want to, essentially. Does that make sense as an idea, Danny?
Would
Because then you
you
don't have to
would
ship shit.
well, would you put up put it all together? Like would you put together a book like that? Like would you
Would I?
Yeah.
As a let me think real quick.
I think yeah, I mean
I would
in
do it as a gift for someone. I would really like to do that as a, because the thing is, like, I have physical books,
okay.
but I
Yeah.
don't have too many because I don't have too much space in where I live. But and that's really my reservation I have for it. But if I was gonna make someone a book, like a physical book, but it's like I just don't have very much money, or I want to make something that's really personal for somebody that I've made for somebody else, it's a great gift. I think, like, it's just like, would I make it for somebody else? Yeah, it's like, let's say, like, my dad really loves I don't know, like, cookbooks or something. It's like, okay, well, now I bought the rights to a cookbook, and now I go and physically create a one of a kind book that only exists in my hands currently because I made this. And that's a very unique and very heartwarming gift that I think you can give to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, in that way, yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah.
That might exist. I'm probably describing a business that already exists. Create a book from from home. Uh, what is this? Oh, paper turn. Oh no, that's create a book online. Blurb, make your book. No, this is like just to create the book. It's not just like buying the rights and then like making um yeah, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I mean, I might be describing a business that already exists, or maybe not, but um yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to go through with that idea, that's just like a raw, like, off the cuff idea that just popped up. So, like, you guys can feel free to use that. Uh, won't won't call you a fraud for making a successful business off of that if it's successful. But
Yeah.
anyways, case in point, there's so many fucking ideas out there. Things like that pop up from time to time. For everyone, right? It's like your $1 million idea. If you have that $1 million idea, fucking use it. Fucking go for it. Obviously, you don't want to overextend yourself. Like, keep your current job right now. Like, whatever is making you money. But I mean, if you have an idea like that, just think about how you're gonna go about actually monetizing it. And again, if you're good at something, don't fucking do it for free, or don't do it for no reason, right? And realistically, you really should try to capitalize off of what you're working on. 2022 is a new fucking year. You're going to kill it as long as you are willing to put in the work, right? And think through things and be realistic and be humble about things, and really evaluate whether this is a good idea, a good investment of your time or not, as a business. So that's all I really had. I'm just being fucking corny and sappy and pseudo inspirational here. I think I'm quite charming, to be honest, right? But it's I hope you guys got some value out of us talking about some different ideas here. But Danny, do you have anything to add before we close this out?
No, I think we covered everything, yeah. I mean, actually we didn't cover everything. Just real quick, if you like writing, if you want to
Oh, writing, yeah.
become a a better writer and start monetizing your writing before you dive headfirst into it, consider joining a online community of fellow aspiring writers, and uh, especially a community that can give you like honest, constructive feedback on your writing. And
Example.
Scribophile would be one.
Mm.
I was a member of a community called Protagonize for a little over 4 years, until it shut down. There's a lot of options as to an online writing community that you can join. I would,
Mhm. There's probably
uh,
subreddits that you can join for that kind of stuff too.
yeah, Reddit
Might have.
as well. Yeah, but ideally something that can connect you with other writers, with maybe publishers or agents. You know, if you're really that serious into becoming like an author, and or
There's probably something like a guild almost, like a writing guild almost out there. Probably like communities like that where it's like you have people that will take you on as an apprentice, kind of like a KDM, and will help you through, and also get you the context that you need with different people. It's probably a lot of communities like that.
maybe there's definitely a lot of communities that, where you have the veterans kind of thing, and they'll like, they'll
Mhm.
they'll they'll give you. And also a lot of these communities, they have something that some, like Scribophile, for example, I think they call it karma, where you, in order
It's
for
similar to
you,
Reddit.
yeah, but
The
in
same as
order,
Reddit. I think Reddit is called karma too. I think the point.
yeah, well, yeah, in order for you to write your stuff and putting your stuff out there for review, for peer review, you have to comment first on other people's stuff and provide feedback on other people's stuff. So um yeah, that's, I guess that's great. It keeps things balanced, and it also trains you for, like, if you're looking at what the other people are doing wrong, you can then like take that
So
also gets you.
this is kind of like a pre-step basically before you're able to, before, like, if you're not confident about going on Medium or something and creating articles, or asking someone to pay you to like write content for them, then you can go on Scribify or a platform like what Danny was talking about, and really brush up your skills. And then once you've brushed up your skills and have kind of gotten a name in the community, then you can go and kind of monetize off of that later on. I guess there's a monetization like on the platform too, though, right? With Scribify, you said,
um
or no?
I don't know, I don't think so. um
But you're an artist. You're not you get paid in exposure, right? No, it's exposure is all you need. You can subsist off of exposure as an artist.
Yes,
Did you not know
yes,
that, Danny? How dare you
yes.
not know that artists can
They,
subsist off?
they
Right
don't
before I
need
get canceled.
oxygen and
Before
water.
we
All they need is
before we get
attention.
canceled. All right. Cool. Well, cheers, Danny. It was a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of
But
got.
podcast number 30. Thanks for
Yes,
joining us, guys. And wish us the best going forward with our podcast. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate every listener that comes on here and gives us their time of the day.
100%. Yeah. Thank you, guys.